So you've only ever competed against each other?
Yeah.
But so far you're getting on very well. So I'll write my name, Durable, and then I'm going to stand next to the wall. And how do you manage, say, your nutrition with college? Because you're so busy. I feel like you're the busiest women in the country. You're juggling about a million things. Yeah. Is someone going to teach me something?
We'll try.
Do I have any hope?
Practice, yeah.
Okay, I think we have a bit of work to do. We'll be back another day. Anybody can do this at home. I want to see how good you are at explosive jumping. Put my reach. You're going to put your heels against the wall. 1, 2. Turn. Okay, ladies, let's go. Okay, so how we're going to measure this, just so we know, is you're standing posted, the top point of your standing, to the bottom point of your jumping posted. So that's the measure, right? So it's quite like a tight measure. Yeah. I like to be exact. I'm the type of girl that used to work in hundredths of a second, so I'm into my little numbers. So Hannah, congratulations.
Oh, I actually didn't think I did it.
You nipped it. Well done, ladies.
John, we're here in the incredible NUI Galway Connacht GA Air Dome. Can you tell me how this facility came to be?
I suppose initially in 2007 we bought 63 acres of land here, and we set about building 6 pitches, 1 AstroTurf, 5 grass pitches, and then we built our headquarters here, which opened in 2012. Then this has been used extensively in the meantime, but we always had in our heads that we needed some kind of an indoor facility, and we looked at various conventional buildings. But if you were to build a building the size of what we have here, it would probably cost about 50 million. So we were lucky enough to come across Tobin's engineers, who were our engineers here, but they had been in a trade show in Germany and they came across air domes. So Carl Craig and I spent 3 or 4 days in Finland looking at various sizes of air domes, and that came back with the idea, progressed that. We're lucky enough to meet up with somebody involved in Sligo Leader Partnership, and they came with the idea to us of getting funds from the Rural Regeneration Fund under the Community and Rural Affairs Department, and we're lucky enough to get 2.1 million there, which set us up to be where we are now. It's all about games, developing this games opportunity for youths and adults and kids in particular. I'd say when you were coming in here today, you saw kids out there kicking football after school. It's everybody, every day of the week there's somebody here. But this is what it was, we built it for us, to get people in here to play games.
Johnny Heaney, Galway footballer, fresh from win over Mayo in the FPD League semi-final. From a player's point of view, what's it like to play here in the Dome?
It's much different from recent years in December or whatever, January, out in the cold, wind and rain, but no, serious facilities, but brilliant all around now.
Can you see counties, clubs and school teams getting great use out of a facility like this in Connacht?
Yeah, look, it's unbelievable to have this only an hour and a half away from us, where it's just brilliant. It's hard to believe, really. Never seen the likes of it, but it's great.
Good buzz, was it, playing it?
Yeah, it was. I was looking forward to it now. It's something that's obviously has never happened before, so it was great.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome to the University of Galway Connacht GA Airdome in the week that the best higher education colleges footballers in the country take centre stage here in this magnificent arena in East Mayo. We've had 3 days of glorious Gaelic football action, all culminating in this afternoon's showpiece finals as the Yoplait Ladies HEC Championships come to a climax and the various champions are crowned. Coming up, of course, a little bit later on at 4:15, we have the O'Connor Cup final between the champions UL and the challengers DCU. But right now, the focus turns to the Lynch Cup final as ATU Donegal meet UCC for the right to be crowned Lynch Cup champions for 2023. So both teams have been through their final warm-up routines, just some final words being said at the minute. So we'll have a quick look at the teams, beginning with ATU Donegal, who had a really impressive victory here against DCU in yesterday's semi-final. Players to keep an eye out for: number 8, Ciara McGarvey, hit 110 in that semi-final win, and number 23, Emma Howe, who we expect to feature prominently, hit 3-5 in the semi-final yesterday afternoon. Looking quickly at UCC, no late changes on their starting 15. Their goal scorers yesterday against MTU Cork were full forward Kate O'Shea and number 15 Holly Fitzgerald. UCC captained by Gaby Cashman, their full back. So the scene set here at the University of Galway Connacht GA Airdome. Our referee is Shane Curley from County Galway, and delighted to be joined by Fiona McHale, O'Connor Cup winner with UL back in the day, and of course an all-star Mayo ladies footballer. Fiona, a lot of interest, a lot of anticipation ahead of ATU Donegal and UCC. What sort of a game should we expect, and who do you expect to win?
Yeah, these games take a life of their own, don't they? And especially after having their semi-finals yesterday, both teams will be coming in, they'll be quite tired, the legs will be heavy, but once the ball is thrown in, they'll forget all about that and the adrenaline will keep them going. So we've obviously seen that UCC had probably a tougher game yesterday compared to Donegal. They probably pulled away in the second half that little bit better, so they might have been able to rest a few players a little bit better than UCC. But again, as I said, the games take a life of their own, and we'll see what happens now once the ball's thrown in.
Well, an interesting late change by the looks of things on the ATU Donegal team. It looked set there that Emma Howe, 23, was going to start, but she's made her way back to the dugout, and instead number 10, Emer Traynor, has slotted in to the half-forward line. So we'll keep an eye on that. Not quite sure what happened exactly, but Emma Howe, who hit the headlines yesterday, 3-5 she hit in that semi-final against DCU. She's being held in reserve, and it's UCC playing in their traditional colours of red and black, who will play from left to right here in the first half. Both teams inside the dome this afternoon, having played their semi-finals outside yesterday. Both of them had to cope with the elements, the unsavoury elements, and also the get the better of their semi-final opponents. UCC just edging out MTU Cork, and ATU Donegal proving much too good for their opponents DCU. So it's UCC trying to construct the first attack. Rachel Kilgallen, number 19, has slotted into their starting team. As you can see, she was on the ball a moment ago. Now it's Claire Walsh all the way across to Theo Behan up from the half-back line. UCC holding possession, trying to break down this well-organised ATU Donegal defence, and they've managed to draw a foul. It was Caoimhe Connor who was back putting in the challenge.
Yeah, there's probably just a little bit of nerves there. There was probably no need to foul at all, but just a little bit overzealous in the tackle.
So that's a score for Kate O'Shea. UCC are out in front, and I'm just hearing Fiona, and here's our first talking point of the day. Turns out Emma Howe, number 23, not listed in the match programme, so perhaps there's an issue there.
Yeah, that'll be a big loss for them after her scoring, what was it, 3-3 yesterday, 2?
Yeah, so we'll await developments, as I said. Certainly will be a big blow to ATU Donegal if she's not in a position to feature. So it is now a sideline ball on the far side to ATU Donegal. They're going to go back to come forward. Ball played to Alva McDade, the left half back. ATU Donegal, who've never won the Lynch Cup. Letterkenny IT didn't manage it either. Nice move. Ball in the hands there for a moment of Cody Walsh, as ATU Donegal now have to be patient here and probe for an opening. Cueva Connor gives it to Ciara McGarvey. Hit a huge tally outside yesterday, and her account is open inside the dome after 3 minutes of this Lynch Cup final. Teams level, and that was a terrific score from Ciara McGarvey.
Yeah, they were very patient there in attack, and you could see that UCC, they have the numbers back, but they managed to work that loop, and it's worked very well for them.
So UCC take the kick out quickly and break down along this right-hand side. Kate O'Shea, goal scorer yesterday, across towards the other goal scorer, Holly Fitzgerald. Ball won instead by Cueva McGrath. This is Claire Walsh, the UCC number 8. They have plenty of bodies up. They work it to the shooter, Kate O'Shea, and the shot just didn't strike her boot cleanly. Easy for the goalkeeper, Brigitte Maguire, and Brigitte Maguire gets it away from danger, and ATU Donegal are on the front foot. Karen McLaughlin, their centre half back from Longford, breaks the first tackle and then drives into the challenge of Claire Walsh. Shane Curley gives the free Karen McLaughlin's way. Game still settling down, 4 minutes in, a point apiece, and you can see already, Fiona, there seems to be a sense of one team mirroring the other. They're defending in big numbers, and they're forcing the opposition to work the ball into a shooting chance. Ciara McGarvey, it's gone in, but it's not going to count. Shane Curley had already blown his whistle for a free out. Well, ATU Donegal were celebrating a goal, a fortuitous goal. It won't count, but teams trying to create those scoring chances, Fiona, easier said than done, the way the teams are setting up.
Yeah, as you said, they're both mirroring each other. That shot there, I'm actually delighted that didn't go in, because it wouldn't have been a great start for them, even just for the game itself. So, but yeah, both teams mirroring each other. It'll be interesting to see how long they can sustain that, everybody getting back and then everyone getting up again.
Well, we mentioned it here earlier in the week and again yesterday. It is an energy-sapping arena to play big championship matches in. The AstroTurf surface does ask hard questions of players and their strength and their conditioning, and you can see as the game wears on, and as Fiona said, as things open up, it can get harder to stick to this almost blanket defence where everybody gets back behind the ball when they're out of possession. In any event, UCC have managed to create another shooting chance. We're in the 6th minute. That's Kate O'Shea, and that is the lead for UCC. Kate O'Shea from Ballinora in County Cork has kicked her team out in front.
It's good to see Kate O'Shea get her name on the board there, because she's been quite busy there in the forward line. She missed a chance there just a couple of moments ago as well, so I'm sure she's settled now more into this game.
ATU Donegal get the restart away, and the ball is in the hands of Ciara O'Donnell. Plays a 1-2 with Sophia McFeely. Here's Ciara again, and her midfield partner, Ciara McGarvey, goes long and direct in towards the full forward line, looking for Catherine Campbell. Just beaten though to the delivery by the UCC fullback Gabby Cashman. Ball moved clear to Emily Lacey. Nice build-up play by UCC, using the full width of the arena here, bringing Rachel Kilgallen into the game, and now Sarah Conlon plays with the Castlebar Mitchells club here in County Mayo. They were county and Connacht intermediate club champions not so long ago. Sarah Conlon, no stranger to big games, to big occasions, as Teo Behan gets her hands on the ball, and now the third of the half-back line, Mairead Bennett, involved as well. 13 ATU Donegal players behind the ball, Fiona, and that's the main reason why UCC are being forced to play it around as much. Now they go long. Emma Fitzpatrick to Cueva McGrath. Goal chance for Kate O'Shea. Smothered initially. The follow-up gathered by Claire Walsh. Nothing doing. Back for ATU Donegal was Julie Treaty, the centre half forward. But for the first time, UCC managed to penetrate that cover, Fiona, and very nearly got in.
Yeah, and you can see that was coming. Like they look like they've been well set up to try and play against this type of blanket defence, and they're being patient, and they are opening teams up. They are driving at them. Emily Lacey in particular as well, and they nearly got through there for a goal. So there should be more of those goal chances to come.
Well, UCC manager Joe Carroll, he'll be quite pleased with the amount of time UCC are spending inside the ATU Donegal half, that's for sure. They're creating chances, but this time it was Caoimhe McGrath who ran down a blind alley. Caoimhe, who lined out with the Limerick Juniors a couple of weeks ago, plays her club football with Father Casey's in Limerick. That time held up, and ATU Donegal win the free. You're watching the Lynch Cup final, coming to you live from the University of Galway, Connacht GA Airdome. That was Emer Traynor trying to release Ciara McGarvey. McGarvey in after it, doesn't hold back, that's for sure. Gabby Cashman came out to meet her, and in the end, free goes against UCC, or against ATU Donegal rather, and against Ciara McGarvey. And already you can tell, Fiona, in the first 8 minutes, McGarvey is the player that makes them tick.
Yeah, and that was a super run there by Emer Traynor up. They were just very unlucky not to get that final pass off, because I think she was through in on goal.
Jen Whelan, former Cork County minor, lays it off to Ellen Murphy, and the ball recycled to Caoimhe McGrath and across to Emily Lacey. ATU Donegal having to shift their defence across from the right wing to the centre, and they get there. Just look where the corner forward was. Caoimhe Connor sitting on the edge of the D to break up that UCC attack, and now the full forward, Emer Friel. They've sucked so many players back into their own half. They've left two up front. One of them is Catherine Campbell. The other is this player, Danielle McGinley, wearing 5, but sitting in at full forward just now. McGinley gives it to McGarvey, and McGarvey has drawn the foul. Well, she's a dynamic player. She's moving between midfield and centre forward, and she has started this game like she means business.
Yeah, that was a super run by her. She was patient, she came round on the loop again and just drew her free, and that's what you have to do against these type of blanket defences, and she did that so well. But you can see as well, both teams, they started off very much blanket defences, but actually now both seem to at times be holding 3 to 4 up there, which is probably going to work a little bit better in trying to get the ball out.
Yeah, the game is ever so slightly starting to open up. Ciara McGarvey misses the free. She'll be disappointed with that flawless yesterday outside in the wind and the rain, but just radar not quite locked on just yet inside the Airdome as UCC take the quick kick out, and a necklace of passes sees the ball in the hands of Emily Lacey. Shot though from outside her comfort zone, really. Bounces harmlessly away to the right and wide. Both sides missing chances in this Lynch Cup final. I'm sure nerves an issue as well, Fiona, because we were chatting about it beforehand. It is the biggest game that many of these players will have played in.
Absolutely, it's an All-Ireland final and there's bound to be nerves, but at this stage now I'd say they'll start to settle in. That shot there was unlucky by Emily Lacey, but she probably wasn't within her scoring range.
Julie Treaty lets it in long over the head of Campbell, popped beautifully by McGinley to McGarvey, goes low. Ciara McGarvey sees her shot fly wide of Megan McCarthy O'Donovan's goal, but no surprise was in the end of that move. She's involved in everything positive that ATU Donegal have done in the first 10-11 minutes.
Yeah, that was a super run through the middle, and in fairness to ATU Donegal, they did very well to even just put her off her shot.
So Barney Curran, the ATU Donegal manager, seems to have posted Ciara McGarvey right now closer to goal than she had been in the first 6 or 8 minutes. Danielle McGinley wearing 5 is certainly the most advanced of the ATU Donegal forwards, as UCC work the ball into the half forward line, and Rachel Kilgallen from the John Mitchell's club in Kerry. This is Emily Lacey. UCC just nibbling around the edge of the defensive screen. That's a big hit on Ellen Murphy there. Nothing wrong with it. Shane Curley felt it was fair and square, so away goes Caoimhe Connor. Looking for some space on that right wing, looking for Catherine Campbell, runs in behind and won instead by Miriam Cotter, the UCC cornerback. Now Caoimhe McGrath. Jogging up this right-hand side is Emily Lacey. Instead, the ball played to Rachel Kilgallen. ATU Donegal protecting the D, guarding that central channel, forcing UCC to think their way through this blanket defence. Kilgallen to Caoimhe McGrath. Caoimhe McGrath to Holly Fitzgerald, who spins and shoots off balance, cracks off the post, back into play, and a let-off for ATU Donegal. Taking the ball clear is Emer Traynor. Just left it sitting up a little high there as two players, Kate O'Shea and Emily Lacey, tried to close her down. ATU Donegal get the free. We're coming towards the end of the first quarter, and on the evidence, Fiona, of what we've seen so far, they're very evenly matched.
They are, yeah. Now we'll see how they get on with Ciara McGarvey in the forward line. She's actually quite kind of pulled out there again towards midfield, but yeah, so evenly matched so far.
Both teams, by and large, cancelling each other out in the first quarter as Caoimhe Connor moves it on to Catherine Campbell. Nearest player to her is Sarah Conlon, the UCC centre back. Campbell holding up the point of attack, waiting for support. It comes from who else but Ciara McGarvey. Now she moves up through the gears to try and drive to the crossbar. McGarvey turns, shoots and scores. Excellent finish from Ciara McGarvey. 2 points for her, 2 points for ATU Donegal.
Yeah, you could see she had an awful lot of work to do there. She had about 5 or 6 UCC players around her and still managed to get that shot off, which UCC will probably be disappointed with overall.
Well, her reputation precedes her. Ciara McGarvey from Termon in County Donegal did so much damage to DCU yesterday. Out of ATU's Donegal's tally of 416, she scored 110. 3-5 came from Emma Howe, who, as we mentioned earlier, is currently sitting among the ATU Donegal substitutes.
Interesting that Shane Curley's pulled 3 times now for overcarrying. It seems to be a talking point over the last few weeks, with some of the men's game in particular, so it's just interesting that he's looking out for that.
Yeah, and it's also been a feature of some of the games we've seen here over the last few days. Referees very strict on the overcarrying rule. Perhaps they've been reading the papers as Kate O'Shea takes on the fullback. That's Maura Kelly. Kate O'Shea still going. Referee had his arm in the air, was playing an advantage, so he's going to bring it back again. But we heard a lot beforehand about Kate O'Shea and Holly Fitzgerald and their capabilities. They've shown here in the first quarter, Fiona, if they get the supply, they're very, very hard to pin down. Yeah,
Kate O'Shea in particular has really impressed me so far. Every time she gets on the ball, she looks like she's capable of creating something or getting a shot off, and she's just done that there again.
So a chance for UCC to go back in front on the quarter-hour mark here. You're watching the Lynch Cup final at the University of Galway, Connacht GAA Airdome, and that shot has clipped the post and wide on her own side. Emily Lacey from the St. Joseph's Club in County Laois misses that chance. We've seen so many goals here over the last few days in these big games across all the finals and semi-finals, but nothing doing in terms of green flags just yet in this Lynch Cup final. 2 well-constructed defences protecting Brigitte Maguire and Megan McCarthy O'Donovan. But Caoimhe Connor took a lot out of that ball. You could just sense she was running on borrowed time, and Shane Curley has given the free against her. Yeah, and I was really impressed there with Ellen Murphy. Her tackling in the first instance was excellent, just to hold her up. Chance for UCC perhaps to construct an attack. Ball though kick forward more in hope than anything. Move breaks down, and Cody Walsh from Convoy takes it away for ATU Donegal. Goes long down towards Caoimhe Campbell, out in front of Gaby Cashman. They're having quite the tussle in that full forward line. Catherine Campbell gets the better of the fullback here, and Teo Behan looking now for support. Comes from Ciara McGarvey. Her arm was being held, you could see it from here. Free in to ATU Donegal. And Catherine Campbell and Ciara McGarvey, they seem to work really well together. They do. You can nearly see Catherine Campbell there now. She didn't really have any other options. There was only one other person left in the full forward line, but it was nearly like she was waiting for that run off the shoulder from Ciara McGarvey. And again, another free in, and you'd be expecting her to put it over. So Ciara McGarvey sticking to that tried, trusted and tested routine, and ATU Donegal are back in front. She's their only scorer so far. She's certainly doing the heavy lifting in the terms of putting scores on the board. And UCC have fallen behind. Kick out hasn't gone to plan for them either, as ATU Donegal try to service that full forward line. Ball intercepted back there by Miriam Cotter. Here she is again, having played the 1-2 with Erin O'Shea. Into Emily Lacey, the conduit between defence and attack. Lacey lets the ball do the work and finds Kate O'Shea. Now Ellen Murphy. Pass went one way. Holly Fitzgerald had moved the other, but in any event, Rachel Kilgallen had come across to gather the break. There had been a foul committed, and the referee is going to give UCC a shot at goal here. Might just be a little bit too far for it to hit the target, but Kate O'Shea is shaping up here as if she's going to go for it, just outside the D. Well, she struck it well, but no issue with distance. Accuracy was off.
Yeah, and I'd say ATU were happy enough to give up that free just outside the D. Probably the foul, there was probably no need for her to foul at the time, but the fact that she was outside the D, it said she felt safe enough that she wasn't going to kick it with accuracy.
Yeah, it's strange. No wind in here to worry about from the free taker's perspective, but anything outside the D, unless they hit it right on the sweet spot, it does tend to drop short or not to make it. Now they have another chance. It's O'Shea to Fitzgerald, and she went for goal, and it struck the leg of the defender on its way by. It'll be a 45 to UCC. Sophia McFeely it was who got across to put in the challenge, but again it was O'Shea and Holly Fitzgerald involved.
Yeah, and ATU were probably pleading with the ref there, and they probably should have just switched on, because that was a great ball into Holly Fitzgerald. She'd made the run in behind, and she was unlucky not to pull that off.
So a 45 to UCC. Looked initially like Claire Walsh was shaping to take it, but they've overcomplicated things there, UCC, or have they? Well, they've got a free, and they got away with one there, Fiona.
Yeah, I'd say that was a training ground move there.
One that went wrong.
Kind of worked out in the end. They got it back, but I wonder how many times they've tried that one.
Well, if UCC go on to win this, I'm sure Jen Whelan and Claire Walsh will be having the crack about that particular training ground move that didn't quite go to plan, but they got the free. It all worked out in the end. Now, what can they do from here? Here is Jen Whelan, runs into some heavy traffic inside the D. Good defence again from ATU Donegal, and it's Alva McDade from Termon who goes down on that ball with great determination, wins the free, and away goes Quiva Connor to Emer Traynor. There's a lot of pace in this ATU Donegal attack if they can just get enough of a supply. Traynor took the wrong option, shot half blocked by Teo Behan, who plays a 1-2 and then gets the ball away from danger, but it's a loose clearance gobbled up by Emer Friel. Nice jink to lose the defender, and here's Emer Traynor again to try and make amends for that error a moment ago. Catherine Campbell to Danielle McGinley. A real live wire. Back to Campbell. Angle is getting tighter and tighter. Blocked away for a 45. So they'll get a shot at goal from a move that looked very promising in its beginning.
Yeah, it started off very well because it was a fast break that came from a really good defensive structure from ATU. They had everyone behind the ball, but they were positioned very well. And then that fast break, and that's the problem. When you make that fast break, you have to punish, and they didn't do that. But now they have a 45 to try and make amends.
Defending Lynch Cup champions are TUS Midlands. Who will succeed them this afternoon? Will it be UCC? Will it be ATU Donegal? We will find out a little later, because right now this game is hanging in the balance. McGarvey's 45 breaks off the shins of Cotter. Ball moved through the hands to Cody Welch, and Cody Welch has doubled the lead here for ATU Donegal. Really should have been dealt with by UCC and wasn't, and Welch snapped onto the break and flashed it over the bar.
Yeah, that kick by McGarvey, you kind of wonder as well, would they be better just maintaining possession than lamping it in? But at the same time, it worked out for them, and a lot of the time when you actually just kick it in and there's, a 2v2, something can come from it, which it did there.
Credit to Emer Friel for the swiftness of the pass, the quick hands to the unmarked Cody Welch from Convoy, and she made no mistake. And in a final where scores have been very hard to come by so far, that was well constructed, well engineered by the ATU Donegal forwards. Now the focus back on UCC as they try to summon up a response. Teo Behan to Jen Whelan, driving right down the centre, looking to get onto that favoured left foot. ATU Donegal force her wider and wider. Ball then played across to Emily Lacey. The receiver is Kate O'Shea. ATU Donegal have got their defence set, basketball style almost, protecting the D. Ball recycled to Claire Welch, and that's a high delivery. Too high for Kate O'Shea, well away from the goal. And you can just sense a little frustration beginning to creep into the UCC forward play.
Yeah, ATU, in fairness, they've set up very well there. They're sitting back. They have a lot of numbers actually just holding back inside the D. There's always one putting pressure on the person with the ball, but they always have numbers in behind.
Well, the kick-out strategy from ATU Donegal is interesting as well. They're lining it up in a line, in a pod almost around the 45, and then breaking right and left, trying to give Bríd Maguire as many options as possible. Doesn't go to plan this time, but it's keeping UCC guessing, that's for sure. They have a free now. Kate O'Shea to Rachel Kilgallen. Forward to Ellen Murphy. Ball lost in the tackle again. Their tackle technique is really, really good, ATU Donegal. Time and again, UCC have brought the ball into contact and they've lost it in there. As ATU Donegal go long, looking for Catherine Campbell, beaten by Gabby Cashman, and Rachel Kilgallen will get another go. There really is not a lot happening for them down the centre, but they're still hammering away. Kilgallen to Ellen Murphy, back to Jen Whelan. Again, it's very congested. There's 5 ATU Donegal defenders standing between Kate O'Shea and the goal. And there is the end result of it. They're going to have to come up with a plan B, I think, Fiona, to break down this defence.
Yeah, and you know, even in the first 5 minutes, I thought that UCC were very patient in attack, and they probably had a lot more width and depth than they do now, and that's where the frustration is coming in. They're all very packed in around the D, and even they're taking that shot. It probably wasn't on from Kate O'Shea, but it's just possibly a little bit of frustration, but she's leading that attack, so she needs to be a little bit more patient there.
Very quick transition from ATU Donegal here. The point scorer, Cody Welch, plays it across towards Catherine Campbell, but beaten in the air by Miriam Cotter. Ball played away towards Jen Whelan, but in the general direction rather than an accurate pass. That's really good hands from Catherine Campbell. Manages to hold off the defender. Now Ciara McGarvey comes into the line at high speed and shoots on sight, and that shot flies high and wide. It would have been a spectacular score.
Yeah, and you can see there again Catherine Campbell and Ciara McGarvey are linking up very well together. Again, Ciara McGarvey knows every time she follows Catherine Campbell on the ball, she's going to turn around and give her the layoff.
Well, they certainly have got a good thing going up front, McGarvey and Campbell. The twin threats in the ATU Donegal forward line. What UCC would do for a score right now. This is Holly Fitzgerald. Good run. Charges though into Alva McDade. McDade stood her ground and wins the free. And while we have been rightly singing the praises, Fiona, of the likes of Catherine Campbell and Ciara McGarvey, this back 6, maybe back 8 or 9 for ATU Donegal, they're quite the unit. Yeah, and Ava McDade did very well there to stand her ground, and it's interesting, we haven't, the talking point is around the charge in ladies football, and this is the first one we've seen today, and I think the ref was right to call that one. She led with the elbow, which is a correct decision. Cody Welch takes the ball forward almost like a point guard, sets Emer Traynor on the attack. Here's Cody Welch again. The playmaker up front for ATU Donegal, pushed over by Emily Lacey, who made no attempt really to disguise the tackle. It's a cast iron free in, and there's that frustration again. Yeah, and again, like Cody Walsh, she's really pacey, and she probably wasn't able to catch up with her, and the ball was just kicked. There was absolutely no need for that foul there at all. There was no threat at all. Well, Cody Welsh from Convoy, she scored a point. She's coming more and more into the game, and she's that sort of a player that's very hard to get to grips with. She's dropping off, picking up loose ball, and as Fiona said, extremely quick across the ground. And right now, Sarah Conlon has got her hands full with the ATU Donegal number 17. Ciara McGarvey then to extend the ATU Donegal lead, and she's hooked it away to the left. That's a few chances now she's left behind. Yeah, and possibly not in her range. Maybe look for the short, get one back, pop it over, then might be an option for her. So 3 minutes of normal time left in the first half of this Yoplait LGFA HEC Lynch Cup final, coming to you live from the University of Galway Connacht GA Airdome here in East Mayo. And it's advantage ATU Donegal. They lead 4 points to 2, and in truth should be further ahead. Another UCC attack has broken down. Sophia McFeely it was, who was in the right place at the right time. But just thinking, Fiona, if ATU Donegal had taken half the chances they've missed, they'd be sitting on a much more comfortable cushion.
They would, but you could probably say the same for the other side with UCC. They've had a few chances as well that they've left behind, probably earlier on in the half. But it is interesting with the freeze.
Ball in over the top. It was a half chance for Kate O'Shea to run onto. Out comes the goalkeeper, Bríd Maguire, gets it away to Maura Kelly. And now Emer Traynor. She's got quite the wheels, Emer Traynor. Up into fifth gear there. But the final pass was not what was required. Easy for Sarah Conlon to cut it out and intercept, and now ATU Donegal are trying to scramble players back into their own half, slow down this UCC attack. Emily Lacey to Rachel Kilgallen, nice sidestep to lose Karen McLaughlin, and gets around Ciara O'Donnell. Foul on Rachel Kilgallen, who's worked really hard, Fiona, to try and get attacks going for UCC, hasn't she?
Yeah, she really has. They've another one here now, and got Katie O'Shea on the ball again.
Emily Lacey with the quick free, and it is Kate O'Shea. She is the target, the go-to woman in that UCC full forward line. Now Mairead Bennett, former Kerry minor, Caoimhe McGrath, and all the way across to Jen Whelan, who spins away from the tackle. That was really clever play from Jen Whelan. She lost Julie Treaty with the sweetest of sidesteps, and Jen Whelan kicks her first point of the Lynch Cup final. And for all of ATU Donegal's territory, possession and dominance, they're only a point up.
Yeah, that was super by Jen Whelan, just the way she spun away, and she had the space then just to take that point. That might settle UCC now and then get a bit of confidence back.
That was very clever centre forward play by Jen Whelan as the ball is played in over the head of Emer Traynor and on towards Holly Fitzgerald. Hit the net in the semi-final, hasn't got a sniff of goals so far in this final. Pops it back to her partner in crime up there, Kate O'Shea. Now Claire Walsh, and one more pass delivered across to Ellen Murphy. ATU Donegal moving that defence across to close down the time and the space for Claire Walsh, who does manage to play the hand pass initially, now dives onto the loose ball. Free against UCC for overcarrying. And another little psychological victory for that ATU Donegal defence.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wasn't sure what way that free was going to go there. I don't know, was it travelling or was it free in, but I think they deserve that. Well,
there goes the half-time whistle. Fiona, the scoreline, the scoreboard speaks for itself, but what are your overall impressions of what you've seen?
Yeah, they're a very evenly matched side. I probably feel like ATU, when they're in attack there, like they're so good at their blanket defence, protecting that D area. When they do turn over the ball and they break at pace, they actually don't seem to have anything in the half forward line. They have two sitting in around, inside the full forward line. And if they had that one extra person, even to give a pop pass of a hand pass and get it off again, because Emer Traynor at times has gone up there at pace, and they end up losing possession in around that 45. So I think if they could hold a third person, which I see Cody Walsh has done there in the last couple of minutes, I think that might be good for them in the second half. But overall, I'm expecting a really good second half. We don't know what way this is going to go.
Yeah, it's developed into a fascinating tactical battle, a fascinating Lynch Cup final, full stop. At half-time here at the University of Galway Connacht GA Airdome, it's ATU Donegal who lead UCC by 4 points to 3. Still all to play for. Don't go away. We'll have full second half coverage coming up shortly.
So you've only ever competed against each other?
Yeah.
God, so far you're getting on very well. So I'll write my name, Durable, and then I'm going to stand next to the wall. And how do you manage, say, your nutrition at college? Because you're so busy. I feel like you're the busiest women in the country. You're juggling about a million things.
Is someone going to teach me something? We'll try.
Do I have any hope? Do I have any hope?
Practice, yeah.
Okay, I think we have a bit of work to do. We'll be back another day. Anybody can do this at home. I want to see how good you are at explosive jumping. With my reach, you're going to put your heels against the wall. 1, 2, turning. Okay, ladies, let's go. Okay, so how we're going to measure this, just so we know, is you're standing posted, the top point of your standing, to the bottom point of your jumping poster. So that's the measure, right? So it's quite like a tight measure. I like to be exact. I'm the type of girl that used to work in hundredths of a second, so I'm into my little numbers. So Hannah, congratulations.
I actually didn't think I'd get it.
You nipped it. Well done, ladies.
John, we're here in the incredible NUI Galway Connacht GA Airdome. Can you tell me how this facility came to be?
I suppose initially in 2007 we bought 63 acres of land here, and we set about building 6 pitches, 1 AstroTurf, 5 grass pitches, and then we built our headquarters here, which opened in 2012. Then this has been used extensively in the meantime, but we always had in our heads that we needed some kind of an indoor facility, and we looked at various conventional buildings. If you were to build a building the size of what we have here, it would probably cost about 50 million. So we were lucky enough to come across Tobin's engineers, who were our engineers here, but they had been in a trade show in Germany and they came across Airdome. So Carl Craig and I spent 3 or 4 days in Finland looking at various sizes of airdomes, and that came back with the idea, progressed that. We're lucky enough to meet up with somebody involved in Sligo Leader Partnership, and they came with the idea to us of getting funds from the Rural Regeneration Fund under the Community and Rural Affairs Department, and we're lucky enough to get 2.1 million there, which set us up to be where we are now. It's all about games development, games opportunity for youths and adults and kids in particular. I'd say when you were coming in here today, you saw kids out there kicking football after school. It's everybody, every day of the week there's somebody here. But this is what we built it for, us to get people in here to play games.
Johnny Heaney, Galway footballer, fresh from win over Mayo in the FPD League semi-final. From a player's point of view, what's it like to play here in the Dome?
It's much different from recent years in December or whatever, January, out in the cold, wind and rain, but no, serious facilities, but brilliant all around now.
Can you see counties, clubs and school teams getting great use out of a facility like this in Connacht?
Yeah, look, it's unbelievable to have this only an hour and a half away from us, it's just brilliant. It's hard to believe, really. Never seen the likes of it, but it's great.
Good buzz, was it, playing it?
Yeah, no, it was. I was looking forward to it now. It's something that's obviously has never happened before, so it was great.
Yeah, and you're very welcome back to the University of Galway Connacht GA Airdome, second half of the Lynch Cup final coming up. And Fiona McHale, nobody really any the wiser at the moment as to who's going to win this thing.
No, not really. We'll probably know more now in the next 10 minutes, but I'm sure those half-time team talks, I'm sure there was a few changes made or a little bit of structure changed. Just trying to fix a few little things, a few tweaks in maybe their structure of their forward lines. But both teams, you'd wonder would they be happy enough going in with where they are at the moment. But it will be an exciting now second half. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, just looking around the field right now, it gives us a chance to see who's playing where. Ciara McGarvey is at full forward for ATU Donegal, I can tell you that for certain. Ciara O'Donnell is at centre forward, and Catherine Campbell is alongside Lauren McBride in the middle of the field. That's Caoimhe Connor, who's picked up a bang just off the back of the throw-in. She'll need just a little bit of attention, I think, just to make sure she's okay. But it is ATU Donegal who lead here by a point, and they are 30 minutes or thereabouts away from an historic first ever Lynch Cup final win. But UCC will feel they're very much in the hunt to win this competition for the first time since 2008. This UCC's second team up against ATU Donegal's first, and it is the team from the northwest who are on the attack and looking extremely dangerous. Emer Traynor cuts through, shot comes back off the post, and the quickest to react, initially at least, was Claire Walsh, and backed up by Miriam Cotter, and UCC will clear the danger.
That was a super run through by Emer Traynor. We saw glimpses of that pace in the first half, and she did very well to get her shot off there. She was just unlucky that it hit the post.
So as this game wears on, we'll see what the ATU Donegal manager Barney Curran has got up his sleeve, and likewise Joe Carroll for UCC. They'll have to run their benches perhaps to break this stalemate of sorts as Holly Fitzgerald hand passes that ball on, but did well to do so because she was being held. Caoimhe McGrath had made the run off her shoulder. Shane Curley had already given the free. So we'll come back for the shot at goal from Kate O'Shea.
What was important about that attack there was it was a first time kick pass in, and that worked well in their favour.
Kate O'Shea with the shot, and Kate O'Shea has landed the equaliser, and now we are right back to square one.
Yeah, great. That was a great score from Kate O'Shea, because I think she missed one from that distance in the first half, and she had the confidence to take it there in the second, which was great. Obviously there's no wind, she didn't have to contend with that, but great score.
Brigitte Maguire with the kick out. Plays her club football with Airua club in Donegal. The vast majority of this ATU Donegal team coming from their home county. No major surprise there. There are a few exceptions, all right, who make the journey to Letterkenny for college. But by and large, it's a homegrown squad up against a UCC team drawn from right across Munster, but backboned by many former Cork underage players, and players I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about in years to come. Emily Lacey's from Lynch, she's on the ball. Support from Jen Whelan, and now Theo Behan, very lively right half back from Stradbally in County Waterford. ATU Donegal have set the defensive screen. Emily Lacey doing her best to negotiate a way around it or through it. Now Rachel Kilgallen. Well, they've got no shortage of ball carriers or willing line breakers, but it's easier said than done against this ATU Donegal backline, as that shot from Kate O'Shea shows, and that was very flamboyant from Brigitte Maguire, who was cool as a breeze as she juggled that ball around. But UCC have broken up that fast break by ATU Donegal. There's a goal chance for Holly Fitzgerald, cleared off the line by Maura Kelly. And all that good defensive work initially by Brigitte Maguire almost undone by UCC. Now ATU Donegal do get out though, they beat the press. It's Ciara O'Donnell inside to Ciara McGarvey. Cody Walsh wants it and gets it. Back to McGarvey, goal chance! Ciara McGarvey with a fantastic finish, her second goal in 2 days, and ATU Donegal have broken the deadlock.
Yeah, UCC will be very disappointed not to get the goal up the other end, came back down, and in fairness to ATU, they really punished them there.
It was a rocket.
Superly taken goal, and they're right to leave her in the full forward line, in my opinion.
Well, Megan McCarthy O'Donovan had no chance of stopping that pile driver from Ciara McGarvey as Emer Traynor clatters into Jen Whelan down at the other end. It's been a much different game in the last 5 minutes. The pace and the tempo has quickened, but Ciara McGarvey, the goal scorer, well, she is bending this game to her will. She's now hit 1-3 out of ATU Donegal's 1-4.
Yeah, and that's really been the difference literally in this half, because both teams have, like, I would have felt UCC were playing with more intent there for the first 5 minutes. They turned the ball over there on the sideline, they came in for a goal chance, and then they came back out, or ATU came back out, but that was such a well taken goal by Ciara McGarvey, and playing in there, she's such a threat. I'm sure UCC are delighted when they see her go out the field around the middle, because she's going to cause so much more problems now if she stays in there. But it was an absolute rocket of a shot.
There's the challenge from Emer Traynor on Jen Whelan. What did you make of that tackle? It's obviously a free into UCC.
Yeah, it was innocuous enough. She obviously got the high arm there was probably the main thing, but she was going at such pace that it probably looked worse than it probably was, really.
Good news for UCC is Jen Whelan is up again, good to go. Free is taken quick and short. There is Jen Whelan, very clever player, uses the ball well, finds Ellen Murphy. Now Rachel Kilgallen, elusive number 19, up on her toes, bouncing from side to side. ATU Donegal with a dozen players between the ball and their own goal, and everybody knows their own role. Nobody standing and admiring, that's for sure. Teo Behan, quick change of direction. You can hear Barney Curran coaching his defence, basketball style, down underneath us, Fiona.
Yeah, they obviously have worked on this a lot this year with their defensive structure, and he seems to be trying to coach them through it now. It probably helps him more than it helps the team, I feel. But
doing his best Rory Gallagher impression.
Yeah, they're very well set up. They look like a very well coached team, in fairness.
And they've done it again. UCC held possession. They did very little wrong, didn't they? But ultimately, they come away empty-handed.
Yeah, it's probably been a feature now in the second half from UCC. They've been very patient in their attack. They're playing with a little bit more width than they did in the first half, but that is just that last option. They're not taking the right one. They need to be probably that little bit more patient and find those gaps.
And they just need somebody to take the initiative and break that line the way Ciara McGarvey does for ATU Donegal, as Karen McLaughlin from Dramard in County Longford comes forward, sprays it across to Ciara O'Donnell from St. Eunan's. Lovely decoy run made by McGarvey to open up the space. Now McGarvey comes on the loop, tries to shovel it back to a teammate, but she was being fouled. Danielle McGinley was up in support, but Shane Curley had already given the free. But McGarvey again, she started a leisurely jog out from the full forward line a minute ago there, Fiona, and then arrived on the scene at pace and caused pandemonium.
Yeah, and exactly what you were saying there about UCC. Maybe what they're lacking in their forward line is that person just taking that ball at the last second at pace, and it just draws that free.
So free in to be taken by Ciara McGarvey, who was never ever going to miss. 1-4 for McGarvey, 1-5 for ATU Donegal, and so quickly it's gone from a 1-point game to double scores. This Lynch Cup final is starting to swing decisively in ATU Donegal's favour, but still a long way to go. And UCC, they've enjoyed plenty of possession, but they just haven't been able to convert it into hard currency, as Jen Whelan delivers the pass to Caoimhe McGrath, but she takes the wrong option, turned into 2 or 3 defenders, and they're back to square one. They go back out to the 45 again to Teo Behan. Well, you wouldn't envy UCC's challenge right now to try and break down this seemingly impregnable ATU Donegal defence.
Yeah, you can see Jen Whelan just calling the inside forwards to spread out a little bit more and create a little bit more width.
Now Jen Whelan delivers the pass. just get that feeling if anybody can pick the lock on that ATU Donegal backline, it just might be Jen Whelan. But this time, her pass into the corner has led to a possession for ATU Donegal. Well, they mark so tight. They're in two banks of 3 or 4 players around the D, and they're happy to let you take it out to the right or out to the left. But once UCC come down the middle, they're being swallowed up.
Yeah, I think UCC are probably making it easy for them too, because there's not that much movement, even though they have the players up there, but they're kind of leaving the person on the ball to do the work.
Well, if you like your football tactical and strategic, well, then you're going to love this, because it is a fascinating battle between the UCC attack, their offence, and the ATU Donegal defence, that's for sure. Karen McLaughlin plays a very clever 1-2 with Julie Treaty. Now Caoimhe Connor, tight angle. The contact will have to be precise. The umpires like it, and that is a brilliant score from Caoimhe Connor from Drumcliff, Ross's Point in Sligo.
That was an unbelievable score from such a tight angle and such pressure on her as well as she took that shot, and that's a super score for ATU.
Well, as you can see, 2 defenders were chasing her down. She had very little room to work with, but she curled it in beautifully, and the umpire had no doubt. Here they come again. It's Ciara McGarvey, and it's another one for ATU Donegal and another one for McGarvey. They've hit 1 goal and 3 points in this third quarter. They've held UCC to a point, and they're beginning to kick on. They're beginning to turn the screw.
Yeah, and UCC look under a little bit of pressure getting that last kick out, and that's where that last score came from.
1-7 plays 4 points here at the University of Galway, Connacht GA Airdome. They've lifted the pace and the tempo in the third quarter, ATU Donegal, and they're challenging UCC to stay with them. Emily Lacey trying to run the defender. Back up though, as always, there in good supply. UCC managed to win the break. It's Claire Walsh who cuts through, shot blocked down. And yet again, ATU Donegal come up with the answer to the question. And you'd have to imagine at this stage, with every passing minute, the longer they're struggling to break down the defence, the more UCC will start to wonder where the scores are going to come from.
Yeah, as a player you get very frustrated at that when you're over and over and over, you're missing chances, or the final pass is being given away, or you're meeting the 3 or 4 tackles. But I do feel that UCC can offer so much more up there. Like, they have the numbers up there, but there's very little movement. There's a few people jogging around, but there's no one running through, like a strike runner off the shoulder at pace is really what they need in this situation.
Both teams making changes. ATU Donegal have brought in Amy McIntyre from Cavan, and UCC have brought in Emma Murphy from Carrigaline to replace Ellen Murphy. So fresh legs in both teams as we head towards the end of the third quarter. Emer Traynor from Dunamore in County Monaghan ferries that ball into the UCC half of the field. Now Catherine Campbell. Haven't seen much of her in this third quarter, but was a real handful in the first half. Back outside to Emer Traynor again. Across towards Danielle McGinley. Crucial touch to take it away from the UCC defender, but back to cover was Claire Walsh, and Claire Walsh from UCC gets it out to Teo Behan, and UCC are trying to play as quickly as they can here on the break, but slowed down crucially by an ATU Donegal tackle just to take the sting out of this counter-attack. Caoimhe McGrath, though, manages to spin away from the defender. She's got 2 or 3 in hot pursuit. Manages to slip it out through the side door to Rachel Kilgallen. The pass, though, to Holly Fitzgerald was asking a lot of the corner forward, who was being tightly marked by Lauren Martin. And ATU Donegal, yet again, win this latest battle, this psychological battle in that full forward line.
Yeah, and that, in fairness, that play there by UCC was probably one of the more promising attacks that they've had in this second half, but again, it's just that final pass letting them down.
Well, they've had to work so hard for the 4 points they've scored, and they must be wondering where the next score is coming from. They hit 2-9 against MTU Cork in the semi-final outside yesterday, but they're finding scores much harder to fashion. in the Dome this afternoon. Strong, purposeful run by Emer Friel to Cody Welch to Caoimhe Connor. Lovely combination play by ATU Donegal. Connor scored from here a few moments ago, and she's just done it again. That's absolutely superb from Caoimhe Connor. The tighter the angle, the better she gets.
Yeah, that's clearly her sweet spot. It was again an unbelievable score, and again under a little bit of pressure, but she obviously backs herself from that distance, that angle as well. Excellent.
That was one of those scores that you'll remember long after this weekend is over, that's for sure. Remember the name, Caoimhe Connor from Sligo, 2 points in a row. And psychologically again, they must be huge for ATU Donegal, Fiona, to break out a defence with such ease, to put a move like that together, and then to see the way Caoimhe Connor finished.
Yeah, and on the opposite side then, psychologically for UCC, like they probably did everything right. You're pushing a player out to a really tight angle where a lot of players wouldn't shoot from. They probably had done everything right, but just obviously she's got her shooting boots on today.
Now UCC with a chance perhaps to come up with something. Emma Murphy to Holly Fitzgerald. Awkward challenge really from Julie Treaty more than anything, and UCC get the free in. I think it's safe to say that Barney Curran won't let his team rest on their laurels, Fiona, because that's him we can hear constantly in the background, driving them on. More effort, more scores. He wants this game put to bed.
Yeah, and in fairness, look, they don't want to get complacent either, and he probably feels like he has to keep them on their toes. There's still 15 minutes left in this game, and they have to stay, you know, anything can happen, we obviously know that.
He's just made a change as well. Lauren McBride is in to the ATU Donegal forward line, and it's Danielle McGinley who's been taken out as Jen Whelan tries to make something happen for UCC to Rachel Kilgallen. Oh, they created the chance. That's what they've been waiting for the last 16 minutes, to create a chance like that, but they haven't been able to take it.
Yeah, and again, psychologically, to create that chance but then to not get the point is just completely deflating for them. And again, ATU, excellent defending again. They had their numbers back, but again, they have the numbers back, but they're in the right positions too.
Well, ATU Donegal have dominated the third quarter. 1 point ahead at half-time. They're 7 points ahead heading into the last 13 minutes. Emer Traynor galloping across the ground. They look in supreme physical condition. Emer Friel, little show and go to the centre back, shoots for the score, looking for the spectacular one, and Emer Friel just puts her hand in the air to acknowledge, maybe in hindsight, it wasn't on.
It wasn't on. I'm sure Barney Curran won't be happy with that shot either, but in fairness to her, she was right, she had the distance, but it probably wasn't the right option overall, and they're the kind of decisions that they have to make now for the last quarter.
I think Barney might need the strepsils sooner rather than later down here in front of us. It's been quite the game for ATU Donegal. It's been quite the third quarter from them in particular. Karen McLaughlin, they really have driven it on. They've gone to another level since half-time, and Karen McLaughlin's driving run out of defence has resulted in another free in. Right now they have UCC just where they want them.
Yeah, they do, and that run by Karen McLaughlin, that's just epitomises probably the second half overall for ATU. And when you see a player on your team driving up like that, winning a free, and you're up by what, 8 or 9 points, you're in a really good place going into the final stretch.
Kieran McGarvey happy to go back in order to move ATU Donegal forward. She's so comfortable in possession, loves to carry the ball, bouncing off UCC tackles, wins a free, and this, if nothing else, just eats into the clock. It allows ATU Donegal to stay in control, and it means UCC have to keep chasing shadows, keep chasing possession. Emma Fitzpatrick from Templemore is coming in to replace Emily Lacey, who really has run herself into the ground, Fiona.
She really has. In fairness, she's one of the players that's really shown up for UCC today, and I see Emma Fitzpatrick going in there to corner forward. She's a girl that's known to get a goal or two, so they'll be hoping to get something from this substitution.
So free to be struck by Emer Friel, looking to arc it into the corner there, trying to pick out Julie Treaty. Beaten to it by Sarah Conlon. And now Gaby Cashman, the UCC captain. Good ball to find Holly Fitzgerald, who's being shadowed by Sophia McFeely all through this final. McFeely sticking to her task. Fitzgerald still going. Advantage being played. There's a second foul on Fitzgerald, who shoots wide, but we will have a free in. But the tussle between Sophia McFeely and Holly Fitzgerald, it's been one of those that you can't miss, Fiona, since the game started.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and Sophia will be delighted there. Like that, in fairness, that shot, she put it off, but she obviously just fouled her at the last second, or the advantage was played. But that was a super run by Holly Fitzgerald.
Chance now for UCC to kick a crucial score as we swing into the home straight. It's Kate O'Shea with her third point, and it means the lead is back to 6.
Yeah, and UCC need that score. If you're going into the final stretch now, 10 minutes left, down by 6, they still have a chance.
Well, what a UCC goal would do for this Lynch Cup final, would do for their chances of winning it. But ATU Donegal are keeping them at arm's length, keeping them at a safe distance, and that's a really smart kick out by Brídín Maguire to get ATU Donegal moving out of their own half, and now they're inside enemy territory. Caoimhe Connor looking for her third point from that right corner, decides against the shot this time, gives it to Emer Friel, and now Cody Welch takes over. Still full of running, the diminutive 17 for ATU Donegal, as ATU Donegal play keep ball and just try to suck out that UCC defence, tempt them to move out a little further, leave some space in behind. Player on the ball is Emer Traynor, and she's been fouled by a tired looking challenge from Miriam Cotter. That's not the first time it's happened, and the amount of times now that ATU Donegal have come inside the D and left with a free or a score, Fiona, it's starting to mount up.
Yeah, and Emer Traynor, she did very well there. Great decision. She looked up twice to take her shot. It wasn't on, and she held possession and then drew that free. So that's the type of thing that I'm sure their manager will be looking for, that they're just going to take the right options now.
So Ciara McGarvey to kick the free to try and push ATU Donegal that little bit further out of sight, out of the reach of UCC. That's now a goal and 6 for the ATU Donegal number 8, who is surely on the way to winning the Player of the Match award. We'll find out very shortly who gets that particular accolade, but she's certainly on the top of my shortlist, that's for sure. Kate O'Shea down at the other end, links with Claire Welch. Now Caoimhe McGrath. There's a wall of blue jerseys standing in front of her, but credit where it's due, she's managed to win a free.
I hear Barney Kern roaring at them to line the goal, and I think she's thinking about the goal there.
ATU Donegal are not going to take any chances. Brídín Maguire has brought back some reinforcements. Kate O'Shea clips it over the bar just to keep UCC in the hunt. They're still 2 clear goals behind. It's double scores in the Lynch Cup final, and you just wonder where a goal might come from, because when they do get the bodies back, ATU Donegal, they're pretty much impossible to break down. So you'd imagine it would have to come from a turnover or some sort of a fast break.
Yeah, and they did well there. Like, they won their free around the D area, which they hadn't even been able to get the ball in there at any stage in the second half so far, but they had their goal chances in the first half too. They did have a couple of options. So
well, they need to create 2 clear-cut goal chances pretty soon, and they need to take both of them if to have any chance of making a game of this, as Emer Friel yet again tries to set an ATU Donegal attack in motion to Ciara McGarvey coming on the loop. This is where she's at her devastating best. McGarvey, and that is as good as it gets from the star of the show for ATU Donegal. Ciara McGarvey has put on an exhibition in this final. A goal and 7 for the determined midfielder.
yeah, well, that's what's brilliant about her is her positioning and how she gets off the shoulder and comes around the loop, and then she finds the space. And again, another great score from her.
Well, if ATU Donegal were going to win this Lynch Cup, they were going to need the likes of Ciara McGarvey to deliver the goods with some style against UCC, and she has certainly paid her way. She has kept up her side of the bargain, And right now it's ATU Donegal who can afford to be patient in possession, deliberate their next move, and that's a foul on Julie Treaty. This will eat into the clock. It'll run down another few precious seconds that UCC cannot afford to lose at this stage with 5.5 minutes to go.
And ATU are so in control now. I think the last 3 times they brought the ball into the attack, they've either worked a free and got a score from it, or they got a score from play. So they're so in control now. It's really hard to see a way back for UCC.
Cody Welch still full of running to Amy McIntyre. Lovely ball all the way across to Emer Friel. The UCC defence being stretched. Friel is going to lamp this in towards Catherine Campbell, beaten in the air by Gabby Cashman, the UCC fullback from Glanmire. And now Rachel Kilgallen.
See, Emer Friel, she was willing to take the chance, and you know there's no harm in taking that chance, but in fairness to her, once the ball was turned over, she sprinted right back to that 45 again just to protect.
Jen Whelan beaten in that grapple for possession by Karen McLaughlin from Dromard. She has been solid as a rock at centre back, but that's not the greatest pass in the world, and they've given the ball literally to UCC. O'Shea to Fitzgerald. They simply have to score a goal here. It's Holly Fitzgerald who's cut inside, fouled surely, and that was a tactical foul, and it's a penalty.
Yeah, and I'd say when they look back on that, and they probably didn't realise it at the time, they probably needed more communication between the 3 of them, or even from the keeper, but there was really no need to foul there. They had her well cut off. And this is a good chance now for UCC to get things back on track.
Well, Holly Fitzgerald is not hanging around here because she knows we're into the last 4 minutes. UCC are throwing in Rebecca Sheehan as we watch the penalty. It is Brídín Maguire in the ATU Donegal goal up against Holly Fitzgerald for UCC. This to throw UCC a lifeline in the dying minutes. Oh, she's rolled it in. Beautiful finish. Nerves of steel from Holly Fitzgerald. Might be a little too early to say game on, but things just got a lot more interesting, Fiona.
Yeah, it was a well-taken score. Goalie had no chance. But yeah, there's only 4 in it now. Anything can happen. What have we got left? We've got 4 minutes, probably a little bit of injury time as well.
Well, that's how you take a penalty. Holly Fitzgerald side-footing it, rolling it into the back of the net, and now UCC are within 4 points.
And that kick out was so important, and UCC are after winning it back.
Well, no surprise to hear Ciara McGarvey is the official selection for player of the match. If she hadn't been picked, I think there would have been a stewards' inquiry, but UCC are not done yet. Ball thrown though. Shane Curley felt that Jen Whelan did not carry out a definitive striking action when she played that pass, and a massive sigh of relief from ATU Donegal.
Yeah, there's a big call there from Shane to call that hand pass. I actually didn't see it, but it looks like someone's down now as well. So, but that's a real let off there for ATU now, and it might settle them back in again.
Well, if UCC had managed to get in for a second goal, all bets would surely be off. But ATU Donegal, who have been utterly dominant in this second half, they now find themselves just not quite defending a 4-point lead just yet, but not as comfortable as they were before Holly Fitzgerald rolled in that penalty. Cody Welch to Julie Treaty, the ATU Donegal captain, with a chance to perhaps apply the glass. She's rushed the shot and it's flown well wide. We're into the last 2 minutes of normal time, and there's still time for UCC to keep the pressure on. That's a heavy collision between Mairead Bennett and ATU Donegal's, I think it was Emer Traynor, who tangled in the middle of the field, and Mairead Bennett is down injured. Just found herself under Emer Traynor there, and looks the worse for wear for it.
Yeah, it's been interesting. The last 2 kickouts from both keepers, they've decided to go long, and it actually hasn't really worked in their favour because the opposition have won back both kickouts. It's interesting that they're going long when probably the short is on, just to try and maintain possession in coming into the last 3 minutes of the game. I'd say UCC are obviously trying a little bit more, but I think ATU could settle a little bit better on their kickouts.
Here is the player of the match, Ciara McGarvey, across to Emer Traynor. Mairead Bennett, by the way, back on her feet. Good to continue as ATU Donegal carry on. Chance here to perhaps seal it, to wrap it up. Fantastic point. It was Amy McIntyre who just sat in the pocket over on that left wing, took one look at the goalposts, and the finish was flawless.
And again, kudos to Emer Traynor for that run, and she ran off the shoulder and drew a few defenders with her as well to give that space.
Well, that's a score that ATU Donegal needed just to settle things down again. They had conceded the penalty, perhaps a few nerves starting to jangle, but now all is well for them again. 20 seconds of normal time to play in the Lynch Cup final. ATU Donegal are almost there. Catherine Campbell back helping out in defence. It's all hands to the pump. Takes the free, cut out by Miriam Cotter. Is there another twist in the story? Can UCC plunder a second goal and set up a grandstand finish? Kate O'Shea being forced wide by Campbell, delivers it inside, good ball. Claire Welch turned. This is the fullback Cashman. It's Holly Fitzgerald. It's cleared off the line. Well, I'm not quite sure how that stayed out, but it's taken clear, and ATU Donegal managed to repel the UCC attack when it looked set for Holly Fitzgerald to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, and it was a great initial kick pass in by Kate O'Shea. She just saw that gap there, but again, ATU defending so well.
What a run from Ciara McGarvey. When ATU Donegal needed somebody to get their hands on the ball and move them up the field, well, they wouldn't have wanted anybody else to be in that position. She has been outstanding.
Yeah, and she's been everywhere really as well. Even in the first half I was kind of thinking, are they relying on her a little bit too much? But it's just been her positioning and it's probably her making a decision of whether to come out or stay in, and she just seems to always be in the right place at the right time, but that's a sign of a clever player.
Well, Miriam Cotter is going to the sin bin for that tackle on Ciara McGarvey. And the player of the match is just taking a moment as the ATU Donegal substitutes and backroom team get ready to celebrate. They're almost there, seconds away surely. Referee Shane Curley has a look at his watch. ATU Donegal are about to make history. They've never won this competition before. That's Emer Friel, who apologises immediately to her teammates. And unlucky for her, Fiona, it happened, that mistake, right in front of her manager. Of all the places.
I don't think he'll care now at this stage.
Well, UCC have played to the bitter end, never threw in the towel when it looked easier for them to do so at one stage. It looked midway through the second half like ATU Donegal were set to pull clear and disappear into the distance, but UCC hung on in there and are going to go down fighting by the looks of things.
Yeah, and that's testament to them as well. They've actually never gave up. No matter how bad things were getting or how frustrating things were getting for them, they've kept on going, kept on plugging away, and they're probably at their best now in these last 10 minutes.
Well, they're finishing like a train, and Claire Walsh is epitomising that as Kate O'Shea is brought down. Is it a penalty? Nothing doing. Shane Curley says, up you get. Well, on another day in a parallel universe, a penalty's given and the crack starts all over again. Gabby Cashman. Is this one last hurrah for UCC? Emma Murphy, the substitute. They're still trying to work a goal chance. Kate O'Shea beavering away, trying to get room to squeeze the trigger. She's been fouled. It's a free in. And O'Shea surely will have to go for broke. Ball brought forward because ATU Donegal, I think, didn't retreat quickly enough. Brigitte Maguire is bringing back the reinforcements again. 6 teammates on the line, so 7 in total. Now 8 as Catherine Campbell makes herself comfortable. And Ciara McGarvey is back to join the party as well. So they line the goal. What can Kate O'Shea come up with? She's gone for goal, and it's pushed up and over the bar by Emer Friel. Kate O'Shea with 5 points for the UCC full forward. Too little, too late. Yeah,
and she was obviously going for the goal there. She was aiming for that black spot, but just to hit over the bar, so she was right to go for it, obviously.
Well, we're now into the 4th minute of injury time, and there goes the final whistle. The celebrations begin for Barney Curran and ATU Donegal. They are Lynch Cup champions for the very first time. They've beaten UCC, and Fiona McHale, they are deserving winners.
Oh, absolutely. From start to finish, you could see their intent, and what was so impressive about them was their defensive structure. They look like a really well coached team. Obviously that penalty at the end, they'd probably be disappointed with that. I'd say they probably trained so well or coached very well on their defence, but that star quality again with Kieran McGarvey up front, but you have to hand it to them. And again, they lost the Moynihan Cup final twice in the last couple of years as well, so I'm sure like they've a lot of those players still playing here today, so I'm delighted for them now to win. Obviously UCC will be disappointed. They probably just never really got going. The first 5 minutes looked very promising for them, but they just couldn't break that ATU defence down.
So ATU Donegal come good on the big day. They've won the Lynch Cup. They've beaten UCC 111 to 1-7, and in just a couple of moments we'll hear from their player of the match, Kieran McGarvey. But my thanks to Fiona McHale. We'll have the cup presentation shortly as well. Just let's watch ATU Donegal for a few minutes, soak up this victory.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hold on.
Last year, we didn't get over the line and to come up now to this division and win it, we're over the moon.
What won it for ATU Donegal today? What was the message going out from Barney Curran?
He just said that the fight, we needed to fight for every ball, and the defenders, they did everything for us, and when it came up to us, our job to put them over, and that's what we did then and then.
You look like you enjoyed yourself out here in the Dome.
Yeah, no, great facility, unreal, no, super.
Talk us through the goal, because you finished with quite the big tally. I think it may have been 1-7, but the goal was a real keeper, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I think Cody, and once I knew Cody was going, I went with her, and she gave me the slip, and that was it, I was through, so only one thing in my mind when I got in that far.
Yeah, you did. It was a terrific finish. And just finally, Ciara, what does this mean for you and the ATU Donegal players? What will this do for football in the college?
Yeah, it's a huge boost. I know we're looking for more people to come up to Donegal, and I hope us winning this now will be a bit of a thing for to get them to go up to ATU Donegal.
And I'm sure there'll be great celebrations in Termon as well.
Oh, definitely. They'll be welcoming me back. No doubt, me and Eva.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you.
Great credit has to go to everybody here in Connacht for the excellent facilities they have here, and that I would like to thank them all for basically giving us the facilities here for the weekend and for all their help and support to us. Also, I'd like to thank the referees and the match officials for facilitating our game today, and that thank you very much. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Yoplait, basically for sponsoring the HEC and for this weekend. Also to TG Cahir for coverage of these games here this weekend also. Also, I'd like to thank the HEC committee and everybody at ATU for organising this weekend and for their help in making this weekend such a success that it is. Without them, basically, it could not happen. A special word of thanks to Daniel and to his secretary, DJ, and all the hard-working committee of the HEC for organising these weekends. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Karen Tour from the LGFA for her excellent work in organising this weekend as well, and for the management of Croke Park that are here basically relation to the All-Stars, to welcome them also. I would like to basically compliment ATU, Letterkenny, and also UCC Cork for an excellent and entertaining game. I know you're probably disappointed, girls, but I've no doubt you will be back here in the future and that. Congratulations to ATU, Letterkenny on an excellent game, and well done, and congratulations. Before I present the cup, I would like to basically announce the player of the match, and I would like to ask number 8 for ATU, Ciara McGarvey, to come forward. Now it gives me great pleasure to present the cup to number 11, Grace Terry, from ATU.
No. Both of them. Okay, so I have a few thank yous to say, so bear with me. So first of all, I'd like to say thanks to the referees and the sideline men who ref a good game. I'd like to say thanks to ATU Mayo for hosting such a good weekend, and the HEC for a brilliant competition. I would also like to thank Barney, Sylvie, Nadine and Tori and Caitlin for managing us and sticking with us throughout the year. They believed in us before we believed in ourselves. I'd like to thank Don, the bus driver. He's not just a bus driver, he's part of the team. I'd like to say commiserations to Cork. Exactly a year ago today, we stood in the exact same position that you are now, and I know you will be back. Big round of applause, yeah. I'd like to say thanks to the supporters who travelled today and have been travelling with us the whole year. Yes, we're our 16th player. I'd like to say thanks to the college for everything we asked for, we got, and Finchley, our sponsors. And finally, I'd like to say thanks. It's an honour to be standing here, and to Captain Youth Girls. I couldn't have asked for a better final year.
So ATU Donegal celebrate a famous and historic win in the Lynch Cup final here at the University of Galway Connacht GA Airdome. They are Lynch Cup champions for the very first time. They've beaten UCC. My thanks to James and Rory for their great work today, and Kieran as well for making today's production possible. It has been quite the week here at the University of Galway Connacht GA Airdome, and we'll finish on that final score as we watch ATU Donegal soak up the moments. They've run out 111 to 1-7 winners.